In this screencast, we're going to take a look at how to create these button images. This can be really nice to do, to add to Boodle, to make it a bit more visual. So rather than having, for example, lots of scrolling down a page and lots of lists of things, what we can do is create these images which look like buttons, and then we can treat that button as an image and make it a hyperlink to another page within Boodle. So it's much more like a website with hyperlinks than having lots of lists and things. I think it's much more student friendly, much more attractive and engaging as well. So how do you create these buttons? Well, what you need to do is use a program or a website called CoolText, which is just cooltext.com. You can just Google CoolText or just pop cooltext.com into your browser. And this is what it looks like. And we don't need to, you can create an account if you want to. I tend, to be honest, not to bother. You can choose lots of different templates here. I think with Boodle it's much better to pick something, a theme, and keep it. So if you're using buttons, for example, just choose a theme and keep that running throughout your entire course, because if you choose too many things, it just looks quite messy and not particularly attractive or user-friendly. So you can choose, some of them are actually quite whizzy, things like this, they actually move and flash and things like that. What I tend to use to create those buttons that I showed you earlier, just these ones, I just use the plain template. So if I just click on plain, and we can then design our button. So the button is displayed at the top here, or it should be, you saw it there before it disappeared, and we can put our text in here. So let's just call this button image. Okay. We can choose a font. I'm going to leave it like that. We can choose a font, we can make the text bigger if we want to, etc. Now you'll see that the button at the moment is just moving with the size of the text, and that's because in the button settings just down here we've got these auto set. So if these are ticked, these auto boxes are ticked, it means that it will just the button will just adjust to the size of the font, etc. If I take these off, we can then actually make it, we can change the width, we can change the height, etc. So it's entirely up to you. Let's make that. So I'm actually just going to leave these on auto, and I'm quite happy with that. We can change the colour of our font if we want to, and actually I find that I often use white font, white text, and then I have a darker background. I think that can look quite good, quite bold. You can choose an outline colour if you want to, etc. I try and keep mine fairly simple. The shape of the button, I'm going to have a flat colour. I don't want it graduated or anything, but you can play around with this and find whatever you like. Fill colour, I'm going to pick sort of quite a peacock colour, there we go. Okay, I'm going to actually make that text a bit bolder, okay. No, actually I'm quite happy with that, just for this demonstration. So you can play around with this, you can look at the fill and the outline and the thickness. Let's make it, the outline a bit thicker, etc, etc. Now, once you're happy with your button, what you can do is just click Create Button, and you'll see your button there. If you have a look and you're still not happy with it, you can again just click Image. That will take you into your design page, and you can then mess around and then create the button again. I'm happy with that, so I can now click on Download Image. And you'll see there that that has downloaded my image just down to here. And it's downloaded it as a PNG file. It's just a graphics file, it's just a visual file. So I can open that up, and it might take a few seconds just to open up that image. And just while it's doing that, I'll just explain. I tend to, because I haven't created an account, what I tend to do is I tend to do a batch of buttons in one go. So once I'm happy with this image, I'll just go into Edit Image and I'll change the text, etc., and I'll do another one, particularly if I want to do a group of buttons that are exactly the same. Okay, so there we've got our image. And again, it's currently a PNG file, but if I want to, I can save it as a JPEG file if I want to. So let me just go through that again. I can just click on Save As. If I want to, I can just make it a JPEG file, just to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm actually just going to pop it on my desktop just for now. And I can rename it, let's just call it Button. And we'll see it's just there. There's the button there. Automatically, when you download from CoolText, it will put it into your Downloads file. So if I go into Computer, you'll see just over here we've got Downloads, and if I click on Downloads, that button will be there somewhere. It automatically downloads into your Downloads file. In fact, there it is there, the button image. Okay, so when you actually click, download and you see it down here, it actually does download it into your Downloads file, and that's where you'll find it. Obviously you've just seen me save it, save the image again and save it as a JPEG and just pop it on my desktop. That's because I'm going to use it in a second to put onto Boodle. So that's how you use CoolText to create a button image. In the next screencast, I'm going to show you how to put that image onto Boodle and then how to make that image a hyperlink to another page.